Warning.
Okay, what's going on? YouTube, I guess. Today I want to talk to you about weed, marijuana, cannabis, whatever you want to call it. But I call it herb, you know. I had to write it down because I'm going to forget, so. Let's get right into it. Basically, what I want to talk about was the misconception of herb and how, mostly in America, I think mostly in America, because I'm in America, I live here, I think people have a big misconception of herb and they use it in the wrong ways. And the way Babylon laws are made, you wouldn't even know where to start to grow a consciousness for the herb, you know what I'm saying? So I try to figure out why Rastas always get, I guess, this misconception, you could say, or this reputation of being drug traffickers and shit like that. So I mean, they make it sound like we're sliding in boats and boats of marijuana and whatnot. It's like, no, we just smoke the herb. We partake of the herb. That's all we do. Like, Rastas don't. I mean, just think about it. We have, let's be honest, we have free-form dreadlocks. Our dreads don't look uniform, so of course they're gonna grab attention to people, right? So how are you gonna? It's like, the only way you can steal something, you go in a store and you steal something, you know what I'm saying? You need to blend in. Rastas don't blend in. People that have dreads in general don't blend in. So, for a person to do drug trafficking, you'd have to blend in. Now we'll get into that. So I don't see how Rastas have this misconception of being drug traffickers. People have this misconception about Rastas being drug traffickers. It's just kind of weird, you know? But I kind of understand why, you know, because I was listening to one song by Al Rosie. I'm trying to remember the name. I think it's called Ghetto, but I'm not really sure. But he talks about that in his song, you know. And I kind of can relate to it because, you know, I was watching a documentary yesterday about the cartels. And please don't kill me. But yeah, the cartels and, you know, their drug trafficking in Houston is where I'm from, you know, from the outer city of Alief, Houston, Texas, if you know. It's called the SWAT, Southwest Alief, Houston, Texas, where I'm from, you know, and predominantly Hispanic, you know, and yeah, I mean, I didn't know at the time as a teenager that was going down. Cartels, people talked about, of course, you know, I have friends that talk about, oh, my dad's a cartel, and, you know, you're like, yeah, whatever, you know, but they were properly serious. I mean, cartels are very quiet. They're not people that are going to, you know, say, they're not going to be like, I'm blooded. Nah, they don't start yelling stuff out. They're really quiet, and that's what really keeps people, I guess, gang safe, you know. You have to be quiet. Any gang that starts to bring colors and starts to have, you know what I'm saying, I guess an identity to what they represent, that's what messes them up. That's what creates a gang. You know, I guess you could say, all right, that's what creates the look or the problem of being in trouble, the representation of it, you know. So that's why the cartels are so fucking amazing, because they don't, they're just like the Asian mafia. They don't say anything. They don't be out on the streets doing things. They're very quiet. So, you know, I didn't know at the time that the herb that I was smoking came from cartels, because all my dealers were Hispanic. I had multiple dealers that were Hispanic. You want to get some good weed, get some good herb, you know, go to Hispanics. That was my thing. I knew that they would not fall me short. Like black people, I I love y'all. Y'all were doing it good too. But I'm talking about herb. I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying, some real, I guess you could say marijuana. I'm talking about the real grass, you know, the whole herb. They were actually giving it to me, you know. Like when I bought a 20 sack, for y'all to know, it was a 20 sack, you know what I'm saying? When I bought a gram, it was a gram. When I bought an ounce, it was an ounce. But, you know, with black people, I know when they fall me short because it wasn't as much as the Hispanic person would give me, you know, in a 20 sack or an ounce. So I would be like, the fuck is this? Jamal? And he'd be like, hey dog, it's what it is. I'm just like, okay, whatever. Moving on. So, yeah, I mean, the weed I was smoking was basically cartel weed that went down from the cartels to the gang members to the people's dads to people's sons, and then I was friends with their sons. So that's pretty much what happened. I mean, that's how I got my marijuana, which I didn't know at the time, you know what I'm saying, what was going on. So I watched that documentary today. I mean, I had a good idea, but I wasn't really sure. So watching the documentary, it actually showed me that, yeah, I got that cartel herb, you know, the Mexican weed, because this comes from Mexico, you know. And I guess that's the same thing that Rosses have to deal with. Sorry. Rosses have to deal with when it comes to smoking the herb, you know. A lot of Rosses, when they were growing up, were in the ghettos, and they would get their herb from a drug dealer, and they smoked their herb. And then when they got a little older, and they started to realize that the system of Babylon was controlling their minds, and with the consciousness of the herb, it kind of helped them realize, hey, I need to stop living this. I'm gonna be a Rasta. You know what I'm saying? So when they get caught doing, let's say you could take drug deals or whatever, because that's the only thing they really do is buy herb. It's the only thing they really spend money on. They actually live off the land, and because, you know, you can't just grow herb anywhere because you'll get arrested. They probably have to go somewhere and buy the herb. I'm just saying, this is an inference. I'm not, you know, making up. I'm not saying I'm studying this. This is just probably an inference that I'm coming up with. But I think that's probably what happened. You know, people. Please tell me if I'm wrong, but you know, I think people just got they got caught up. You know, and then, you know, the cops were like, oh my God, where'd you get the weed? And then he's just like, I don't know, what are you talking about? And they're like, okay, you're a dirty Rasta, you know, beat you up. And then that's how Rastas got this whole misconception, this whole representation, rep of being, you know, drug traffickers. And it's like, I don't think so. There's not that many Rastas drug trafficking. There's people that even have dreadlocks just to be drug traffickers. They might mess with the Mexican cartels, the Jamaicans, and they know they can make money off of weed because most people in Jamaica smoke weed. And, you know, let's say the Rastas, they smoke their, you know, and they thinking, okay, let me grow my hair out. I'm black. Let me grow my hair out and get dreadlocks so I can disguise myself as a dread and go with the Mexican cartels and get some weed from them, and then, you know, I can sell it off. You know what I'm saying? Because they live in the poverty and in the ghetto. So it's just, it's ridiculous. It's just like, true Rastas don't do this.